Hey everybody. I'll go ahead and preface, I am driving, but my phone is sitting here, so I'm paying attention. For anybody that's worried, I haven't done this in a while, but I just had to get this video out like right away, just because I had kind of an interesting series of observations, I guess. So I went and had lunch with my daughter at preschool. She's will be 5 and will be going to kindergarten next year. So this is the last time. I typically go to lunch with her every few weeks, and my son too. And it's cool because you get kind of that intimate understanding of their little world and what they're doing. And I've been doing this now for about 1.5 years, and it's been fascinating to kind of watch how kids interact and you know, deal with each other and have conflict and have fun and all that stuff. So it's amazing all the cool things that happens with kids. Now, one of the things that I witnessed today that I think speaks to us is that, you know, clearly when we have a mood disorder, we're different. And our differences manifest themselves in sometimes very non-tangible ways, which is why people assume that we're just issues and we have problems and we get ostracized for that. And I watched some of these kids. There was a couple kids. A couple of them happened to be minorities. One of them had a little bit of a speech impediment. And it's really sad how, like, right away out of the gate, you know, people that are different, they get treated differently, or they tend to ignore them. They tend to pretend they don't exist. And, you know, obviously when you're 4 years old, you don't quite understand, but nevertheless, it is really sad and just a harsh reality that those kinds of dynamics of when you're different, you don't fit, happens really, really early. And I can say that, you know, for myself, I was always different in different ways. I didn't fit into a classic mold, and I was picked on and some different things. But I always like felt bad, or I felt a sense of empathy for those that were picked on and treated differently and more included and excluded. So again, it was hard to watch, you know, and I was there, you know, we're just playing with blocks and plastic animals and stuff, and I'm trying to, one of the little girls is talking about playing and asking to play, and we'll let her, and, you know, just, you know, kind of, I mean, I don't know whether or not it has anything to do with her race. I have no idea. That's not really my point. The point is that things that are different, that stand out, you know, that you get ostracized. And I guess it's something that, you know, we have to reconcile ourselves with mood disorders, is how do we deal with the fact that we're different? And how do we accept the fact that we're different? Because, you know, the reality is people are never going to necessarily understand. Some people may, but most people won't. And, you know, if you struggle or have a situation or an episode or something bad goes wrong, you know, it's just, you have to kind of be okay in your own skin to know that, you know what, I'm different and that's all right. You know, the fact that my identity is not defined what people think of me. It's defined by my relationship with Christ and God and what He thinks of me and my love for Him and His compassion towards me. And so I share that just as a it's a reminder for me that, you know, this whole idea of being treated differently because you are different and you're, you know, for whatever reason, you know, not the typical little kid or person or whatever, that, you know, I think we can all share a sense of appreciation for what that is. It's just, you know, the classification that defines that difference may be different. But I would encourage you all to think about that, I guess, is as you're interacting with others, to show the level or that level of appreciation and empathy towards those that may be different, that has nothing to do with mood disorders. Really examine yourself. I mean, are we being consistent with, you know, we want people not to judge us, but are we judging others? I mean, I really, really want you guys to just marinate on that, because I don't know. Today was just, it was kind of like an eye-opening experience for me, and a great reminder that we're not the only ones that suffer. And it's a different kind of suffering, but in terms of being an outcast, same thing. And not being accepted into a group, in just to the society and things, it's the same stuff, and it sucks. And we need to help each other, not just the ones that have mood disorders, but the people that obviously struggle as well with, differences. I don't care if we're talking about race. I don't care if we're talking about disabilities. I don't care if we're talking about interests or skills or passions or whatever the thing is. God calls us to love one another and to accept one another unconditionally. And, that's a pretty broad statement, and it sounds simple, but it's a lot harder to do when it's easy to sit and dismiss that minority, that voice of people that do struggle, just whatever. But to stand up for them, to look at them. And I look at this, guys, one of my biggest missions with you is to stand up for you guys that maybe don't have a voice, to try help to, inspire confidence, so that you don't have anything to be afraid of, and you have a lot to be proud of, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with having a mood disorder. It may provide issues or create issues or discomfort, but at the end of the day, it's a part of you. It doesn't define you, but it is something you deal with. And I want so much for people not to walk around ashamed and embarrassed about the way that they were built, because that's just silly. That's not the truth. That is all a lie. And I will stand on that soapbox till I can't stand anymore about that, because I'm very passionate about this notion that, God brings about, and I'm sorry, this is a long one, so I just, this hit a nerve. God uses the meek and the humble and the broken and the destitute to do his work and do his mission. He relishes and loves and has compassion so much for those outcasts. And I think, we're right there in the middle of it. And, he's there to do amazing things with people that are broken. And for those that are listening, there's probably a lot of you that have large or enormous parts of your life that you're broken. And I don't want you to think you're not capable of doing great things because you have a mood disorder. That's baloney. That's BS. You can do great things. You are capable of awesomeness. You just have to have faith, and you have to not let the outside stigmas dictate your sense of self-worth. Guys, I love you to pieces. I'm sorry this is long. I try to make this only 4 minutes, but by golly, gosh darn it, this is important stuff. And I want you guys to really absorb today and use it and think about it, because this is how we do change the world. This is how our little small ministry that's going on our little page, how we can take this and transcend this beyond not just people with mood disorders, but with people that don't, that have other issues, I should say. So anyways, that's all I got. God bless you all. Let's go fight the good fight.